Well, one of you sent me the most disturbing what I eat in a day that I had to throw everything aside and make you this one. And it comes to us from a new problematic friend. Hold on, I'm going to pull them up. It comes to us from bonappetit.com, which is interesting because that's a platform about food, and you will find there is almost no food in this what I eat in a day. Shall we? From Kelly Wersler, who is this famous interior designer, and she's based somewhere in the LA area, and I can't help but wonder if this tagline here, it's just like a little, so her answers were revealing, no period. I feel like this was the, like boss of the journalist calling and being like, hey, how did it go with Kelly? Her answers were revealing. Let's get into it. Kelly starts off her day at 5:30 in the morning, 7 days a week at Barry's Boot Camp. I feel like even the scammy people at the front desk that sell the Barry's Boot Camp packages would be like, I don't know if you need to be coming 7 days of, okay, yeah, Kelly, here's a towel. Enjoy your workout. And then what does she do next? Well, don't worry, she does hydrate, but with plankton? I didn't even realize that was, I will never be in the tax bracket that will ever understand how someone can add plankton to their water. It's always going to be a SpongeBob character for me. Okay, so then the interviewer says, well, after your workout, you must be starving. 800 calories, 5:30 in the morning, Hollywood hot shots, one towel? Not for a while. She drops her sons off at school, she gets a non-fat macchiato, because, would it kill you? Okay. And then for the rest of the day, what does Kelly do? She juices, which reminds me of one of my other favorite mantras, juice is not a meal. Let's see what her juices are, though. Kelly goes to our favorite problematic grocery store, Erewhon, and gets a bunch of juices, and she avoids orange and pineapple because there's too much sugar. Unless you are dealing with, diabetes or something, I don't want to hear you talk about fruit having too much sugar. It's fruit. It's healthy for you. But what about real solid food? Finally, the interviewer's like, this is an interview with Bon Appetit magazine. What about real solid food? And Kelly says, almonds or granola. Juicing is what gives her energy. Can I please get a nutritionist ruling on this? She's doing the 800 calorie burning class. I don't know if y'all saw at the beginning, she has 30 meetings a day, and she's just vibing off beet juice. Oh my God. What about dinner? So this is the one meal where Kelly has something like roast chicken, a big salad. All right, I love all that, beans, that's great, but where is the joy, okay? And don't tell me it's the fact that she goes and gets a whole wheat pizza once a week, all right? She says, I won't eat pizza anywhere else. I'm sorry. Talk about a joyless life if you will only eat pizza from one place. And she falls asleep at 8:45 because she's probably freaking exhausted. This was wild, y'all. Wild.
Well, guys, has the internet found another toxic Liv Schmidt? The lady in that clip I showed seems to think so. But is this a case of someone who really does have a problem, an ED? Is this really such a toxic what I eat in a day? Or is this another case of another health at every size, fat acceptance person claiming healthy eating is disordered eating? That's what I am going to give my opinion on today. But before we get started, welcome back to my channel and my podcast, the 1 Year 100 Pounds podcast. My name is Whitney Holcomb and I'm author of the book 1 Year 100 Pounds. For those of you who are new here, I lost 100 pounds in 1 year on my own and I've kept it off for over 20 years. My book is about how I lost the weight as well as a tough love guide for how you can lose weight and transform your life. On my channel and podcast, I talk about weight loss advice, tips and tricks, as well as motivational content for you to live your best life. And of course, I like to dissect a lot of fat acceptance, health at every size nonsense because I am not a believer in that whatsoever. Losing weight and being skinny will always trump being fat and unhealthy. So diving right into it, I saw this reel on my Instagram and I just thought it was interesting. So at first you can see that this influencer, this TikToker, whoever she is, no hate to her, she's allowed to have her own opinion, but she seems really riled up by this woman, this skinny woman's what I eat in a day. And first of all, I just want to note how I feel like whenever you have the anti-diet dietitians or health at every size dietitians, not that this lady is, she's not a dietitian. I don't think she does something else. But whenever you see someone coming from, the anti-diet culture, whatever sphere, talking about how other people eat, especially healthy, fit people, there's always an undercurrent of an attitude. It's why the attitude? Again, if you really did think that they had a problem with eating, why are you being such a mean girl about it? I've talked about Abby Sharp before and how I feel like she gives that undercurrent in all of her videos. She literally makes an entire career out of criticizing what people eat, but then wants to go and say how all of them have eating disorders and are obsessed with food. Meanwhile, that's literally all she does. And there are other anti-diet dietitians that I also just cannot stand. But this lady has that same attitude. So that's just one thing I want to note. It's just why the attitude? But I thought we would more closely dissect this toxic woman's what I eat in a day and give my opinion on whether or not I think she has a problem with eating, whether this influencer was right to call her out, or like I said, this is just Is this just another case of some anti-diet culture, fat acceptance influencer who actually just doesn't understand what eating healthy is like? So the woman that we are talking about today is named Kelly Wearstler, and she is both a architect and fashion designer. I guess she's pretty well known in the LA sphere. She's a pretty successful woman, right? So Bon Appetit magazine, which is a magazine that shares like gourmet recipes. They even have, I think, like a blog, and they have like a TV show. For whatever reason, I don't know why they interviewed her, because she doesn't really seem to have anything to do with food, but they interviewed her to ask her what she eats in a day. So again, what her career or anything has to do with Bon Appetit and gourmet food, I don't know, but they interviewed her. And this is what she said. So the first question was, how do you start the day? And she answers, I go to Barry's boot camp at 5:30 a.m., 7 days a week. It's me and a bunch of Hollywood hotshots. I've heard we burn 800 calories per class. So, okay, she works out every single day. She does the Barry's boot camp classes, which I've never actually taken one, but I mean, I'm sure they're like a CrossFit class. You just kind of do a whole bunch of both cardio and weightlifting. And she says they burn about 800 calories a day. Number one, for sure, she is not burning 800 calories per day. A lot of times they will say that for those classes, but that is just like the max for what some people burn in that class. You know what I mean? So if anyone's burning 800 calories in that class, it's likely the 250-pound full-grown man, simply just because he's bigger and men have, higher metabolisms than women. So for sure, she is not burning 800 calories. And I can just say this from my own experience when I've taken those classes, and she's even tinier than I am or was. Those classes, you maybe burn like 400, 500 calories max, which is still a lot, especially like for her size. But no, number one, she's not burning 800 calories. I can just almost guarantee you that. So, okay, she works out every single day. I pretty much work out every single day, but I do incorporate rest days because I think that's very important. I imagine that she would also have to have some rest days in there at least some point. When she says she works out every single day, does she really mean she works out every single day, or is that just like on average? You know what I mean? Surely there are some days she just can't work out because of certain circumstances, or she's just tired. I don't know. Again, if she is someone who is like forcing herself to work out every single day, regardless of how tired she is, that could be a problem. Or is she just saying that because in general, for the most part, she tries to get something done every single day? But still, working out a lot, not a crime, not unhealthy. It's actually a pretty healthy thing to do. So the article continues. Sounds intense. Do you hydrate? She replies, I drink water mixed with Miracle Reds or Miracle Greens with drops of plankton. Later in the day, I drink water with lemon and alkaline water with cayenne extract. Okay, so she sounds very much like the LA type, you know what I mean? Like they are very into health and they do all the different supplements and, their Barry's boot camp and their workout classes. It's kind of like a cult. I don't say that in a disparaging term. I just mean that is just, they're known for that, right? LA, the West Coast is very much like, granola and, health fruit juices. And then New York City, East Coast is like cigarettes and vodka, right? Like they're just totally different. Again, do I see anything problematic about her adding stuff to her water? No, I know a lot of people who do that. Me personally, I don't, because I don't know. I've never really seen much benefit from that stuff. I'm not saying they don't have benefits, but I think there also is a lot of research that a lot of times those supplements and these little extracts and stuff, they really don't help that much. Like mostly if you want to get the nutrients, it's best to get it from the actual food you eat because you digest it better. But again, hey, if she likes it and it works for her, then fine. All right, then they go to say, you must be starving after the workout. And she replies, not for a while. After I drop my sons off at school, I get a double dry, non-fat macchiato at Earth Cafe. And for the rest of the day, I juice. So this is where like the lady in the clip like really got angry at her. So number one, not eating right after you work out, even if it's a really hard workout, is not unheard of. Actually, a lot of people don't get hungry right after workout. I know me personally, like if I have a really hard workout, I can't eat like exactly right after, like maybe a few hours down the road. Working out definitely does make me hungrier, but not right away. So this is not totally unheard of, especially if she's going really early in the morning to a workout class. Sometimes your body, just naturally not set to be hungry until later in the day. A lot of people are like this. But then we get to the problematic part where she talks about juicing for the rest of the day. Wow, what's your juicing ritual, they ask. I get juices at Erewhon. I usually start with a superfood juice. By noon, I get a kale, spinach, lemon, ginger, and E3 live juice. I don't know what that is. I avoid orange and pineapple-based juices. Too much sugar. A little beet juice is sweet enough for me. So again, this is when the lady in the clip I showed you got even angrier because apparently Erewhon is problematic. I don't know much about Erewhon besides it's like a really, expensive health grocery store, like a Whole Foods, but even more expensive. Is it problematic? I don't know. Why is it problematic? It's for rich people. I mean, again, if they want to pay or overpay for food and like healthy supplements, let them. Why you need to be so angry about that? I don't get it. But yeah, again, this is when the lady in the clip really doubled down, like, oh my God, she's just juicing. Juice is not a meal. She's starving herself and avoiding fruit juice. Fruit is good for you. Unless she's a diabetic, she should be drinking sugar. So first I'll say, look, juicing is not really my cup of tea. I am not someone I like to eat, and I mean, I can do the juicing, I can do the smoothies. I mean, they taste good, but I'm not someone who is really into them. Like I said, I prefer to eat my calories, and I can see how on the surface, okay, you're talking to someone and they tell you they just had a really, hard workout. And now the rest of the day though, they just drink juice. At first, yeah, that could seem like, oh, is that a little problematic? Like, where's the real food? But number one, we're not done with what she eats in a day. Number two, okay, juice fasting is a lot different than just fasting on water or drinking nothing, right? Because when you're just fasting on water, you're getting no calories versus when you're juicing, even though it's not solid food, you are getting calories, you are getting energy. So again, just the fact alone that it is not solid food doesn't mean you're not getting the same amount of energy. 1,200 calories is 1,200 calories, whether you're getting that from a burger or whether you're getting it from juices. Obviously, if you're just eating 1,200 calories of juices, you're going to feel a lot hungrier, but just from energy alone, you will sustain yourself. I mean, maybe not in 1,200 calories, but you get what I'm saying. It's calories. Calories are calories. And again, she is this very LA type. They are very into the health stuff, maybe a little bit too obsessed. Okay, I can say that. Sometimes these people do get a little obsessive, right? Is it ED? I don't know. We'll discuss that a little bit later, but I can understand why some people would be maybe turned off by that or find that alarming. However, I don't think it's that unheard of to not eat for the first part of the day. A lot of people do not eat for the first part of the day. They will save their calories for later. And again, juicing, a lot of people like the juicing. Like I said, you're still getting your calories, you're still getting some kind of nutrition. I just recently did a 3-day smoothie and juice fast for a challenge I was doing. And honestly, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was gonna be, mainly because like I said, it wasn't water fasting. I was fasting on fruit juices. And I was doing smoothies, which is not quite the same as juicing because it does have more fiber. It made me feel better, but it wasn't terrible. I definitely wasn't starving. So there's that. Okay. As far as her, avoiding the pineapple and orange juice. I mean, yeah, I'm never someone who really pays too much attention to that as far as macros and calories. I'm not saying that you shouldn't or that it's either good or bad for you to pay attention to macros. I'm just saying I mostly, when it came to weight loss, I focused on calories. And again, I don't have any kind of other issues. I mean, blood work's fine. I'm not diabetic, so maybe that's why I've never paid attention to it. So like the lady in the clip said, unless you're diabetic, why are you worried about that? I mean, that's partly true. Yeah, sure. It seems like this woman, she does hard workouts every single day, and she's only having a macchiato in the morning, and she has the other green juices. I'm sure that some pineapple juice or some orange juice wouldn't hurt her. However, it doesn't say how much juice she has throughout the day, by the way. So if she is drinking a lot of juices throughout the day, then actually that sugar can add up, and it actually could be kind of problematic because especially if you're drinking it just from juice itself and it's not coming from the actual fruit itself, your bloodstream absorbs it quicker. And that is when your glucose levels rise and your insulin can rise because it has nothing to slow down the absorption. So, I mean, yeah, if she is juicing every single day and she's drinking a lot of it throughout the day, then I could see why she wants to, reduce her sugar intake. Next, they ask, what about real solid food? And she answers, besides almonds or granola, I don't eat a lot during the day. Juicing is what gives me energy. Okay, so she doesn't have just juice throughout the day. She snacks on granola and almonds, which again is not bad. I mean, granola has a lot of dietary fiber, and then almonds are pretty good for you. It doesn't say how much she's snacking on them, by the way, so it's kind of impossible to know calorie-wise where she's at. But so far, and she's not done yet, so far it just seems like she eats light throughout the day, and maybe she does that because she just doesn't get hungry until later, or maybe she does that because she's got a really busy schedule, and it's just easier for her to grab a juice or a smoothie and snack on some almonds and granola. It's better than her snacking on some potato chips, which I guarantee you, if she had said that, oh, I snack on potato chips and Doritos during the day, the woman would have been like, oh, yes, go you, you're so real. Anyway, what about for dinner, they ask? That's the one meal I sit down to enjoy. Simple things like roast chicken and big salads and beans, lentils, and hummus. So there we go. She does eat real solid food during the day, but she just saves it for later. Again, this is not super unheard of. A lot of people, like I said, again, just naturally don't get hungry until later. And a lot of people like to do the 1 meal a day thing. That's pretty popular. And especially if she's in LA in that like fitness sphere, then yeah, they do a lot of that stuff. There's a lot of benefits to fasting. But ultimately, if we're talking about, okay, does this person have an ED? Is she under eating? As long as you are getting the same amount of calories per day, as long as you are eating enough to sustain yourself, it doesn't really matter when you eat them. You can starve all day and then, or I shouldn't say starve, you can just not eat all day, but then eat, 2,000 calories at night and then you'll be fine. Like you're eating enough to maintain yourself. That's just how it works. And there is just different things that work for different people. And what she's eating seems pretty good. It talks about lentils and vegetables and roast chicken. Those are all things I like to eat. Well, minus the lentils and the beans and stuff because I'm allergic to it. It's a different story. But for me personally, eating simply like that, like I eat a lot of roast chicken, a lot of potatoes, lots of broccoli. That's just how I like to eat. And one thing I noticed, again, in the clip, in that video, that woman made so many comments about, oh, her diet is so bland and boring. Like, oh, she's just a boring person. Like, there's no joy in your life. Kind of sounds like someone who might be a little bit addicted to food. Like, honestly, maybe that is the case for you. Maybe you find no joy in life unless you can eat pizza and burgers. But for this lady, maybe that is very healthy for her. Maybe that is very joyful for her. Maybe she loves that stuff. Maybe she has food sensitivities like me and she can't eat a lot of other stuff. So for her, that is her living her best, healthiest life. It's just like the judgment from these people. It's like, who are you to tell someone else how to live their life and how to enjoy their life? Just because they don't want to eat the same things as you doesn't mean they don't find joy in their life, doesn't mean they don't like their food. And then finally, they ask, do you have a favorite restaurant? And she says, my husband and I go to Il Fico every Friday and I get the whole wheat pizza. I won't eat pizza anywhere else. Okay, so she goes out and she eats things that are not just roast chicken and lentils. So she eats food. She enjoys herself. She sticks with the whole wheat pizza. Again, she's very LA, very health conscious. So I get it. I mean, me personally, like, if I'm gonna eat pizza, I mean, look, I guess for some people, maybe they just like the taste of whole wheat pizza. As far as like the benefits between whole wheat and like white, yeah, I guess there is a little bit more benefit to the whole wheat pizza. I don't think it's that much of a difference. But again, if she prefers it that way, then she prefers it that way. That's totally fine. So overall, what is my consensus on this woman? Is she being unfairly judged or is there really some stuff going on? Is her eating really problematic? So number one, I think when you look at her, you can tell that she's very thin, but in my opinion, she does not look unhealthily thin. She just looks like, you know what? She takes care of herself. She looks like she's a pretty happy, successful person. I know you can't tell that from looking at a picture, but you can tell that she is not too skinny, in my opinion. Whether or not her eating is problematic, I think that really depends, honestly, on whether it is problematic for her. And what I mean is, look, if she is getting enough food to sustain herself every single day, she's not underweight, her health isn't suffering, then clearly her diet is working for her in that way. It doesn't mean it couldn't be problematic though, just because she's eating super healthy. If she is eating super healthy like that because that's what she wants to do, that is genuinely what feels best for her, then I see no issue with it. If she is eating that way and she is like the woman in the video is saying she really finds no joy in life and she is just making herself juice and making herself eat whole wheat pasta or whole wheat pizza because she is just terrified that if she eats anything else, she will gain weight, then it's a problem for sure. The problem is it's kind of impossible to know unless you ask her directly. I don't think that it's fair to just assign people who eat like this, who eat healthy or eat any kind of way as having a problem. Again, you could eat a range of different things and have an eating disorder, okay? Again, they don't say anything about the people who are doing the mukbangs or like when the fat girls do what I eat in a day and they're eating like fast food every single meal. No one says anything about them having problematic eating behaviors. But this woman, because she chooses not to go that route and she chooses to eat organic and she chooses to juice and exercise, oh, she's got a problem. And I really think that this comes from, again, like I said before, a really skewed idea of what healthy is. Like, sure, being healthy can be a little bit different for everyone, but eating fast food like every single day is just objectively not good for you. It's just not. Like we know so much now, okay? All the research that has been done on the packaged food, on the fast foods, on certain ingredients that just don't work well in our body. We know objectively that eating like that is not good for you. We know that being fat is not good for you. Again, if this woman is happy with her life and she's happy with the way she eats because it makes her feel her best, then she should continue eating this way. And even if she is someone who, like, you know what, she never eats junk food, never eats a potato chip, again, that's her choice. And it could be because, again, she just wants to feel her best all the time. And I totally understand that. I mean, I'm someone, I like to eat healthy, but I also do like to indulge. However, when I do indulge and maybe I overeat or I eat some things I know just aren't good for my system, especially because of all my food and sensitivities and allergies, it tastes good in the moment and it's fun in the moment, but I don't like the way I feel or look afterwards. So yeah, it brings me joy in the moment, makes me feel good in the moment, but then I pay for it later on. And if I did it too often, then I really wouldn't like how I feel or look. So again, there are some people who are just like, I want to feel and look my best all the time. So why would I do that to myself? You know, it's kind of like drinking. I love to drink, I love wine, but I don't like how it makes me feel or look. And I think no one would have an objection if I were like, you know what, I'm just gonna give up drinking altogether. I never want to be drunk again. I don't want to experience a hangover. People would applaud me. But when it comes to food and someone's like, you know what, I don't feel good after I eat pizza. I love pizza, but I don't like that it makes me fat. I don't like, you know, how I feel. I'm never gonna eat pizza again. Then people freak out. Oh man, you know, you're boring, you're joyless, you're toxic. Maybe you should just worry about your own diet. Maybe you should just worry about yourself and not worry about what other people are eating so much. So does she have an eating problem? Maybe, maybe not. But I think you could say that about anyone, honestly. Anyhow, that's all I have to say on this subject. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Do you think I'm totally wrong? I mean, does she seem like it's totally toxic? I'm not gonna lie, at first when I saw it, I was like, oh wow, like she's just juicing, not eating. But when I really sat down to like look through her answers and really think about it, I'm like, honestly, it sounds just like a normal, healthy, like super healthy LA kind of vibe. Like I said, it's kind of impossible to know whether or not she has a problem unless you literally see everything that she's eating and ask her directly. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, then please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and I will see you guys next time.